Good morning, we're back. I'm out of breath. I'm eating eggs on toast. What's new? I feel like this has just been such a fixture of my pregnancy. I did a what I eat in a day when pregnant on TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and I had scrambled eggs because that is pretty much what I've been eating every day. And the amount of people that commented like, I cannot believe that you want to eat eggs when you're pregnant. I get it, I totally do, and it's so funny because when I'm not pregnant, I think I'm more likely to get the egg ick. I'm a bit funny about eggs. I have to have made them, and they have to be done a certain way, particularly scrambled eggs. That's the one I'm most ugh about. So I was in the comments like, I know guys, it's crazy, but for some reason, all I want to eat is eggs. Why am I so out of breath? Because I'm pregnant, obviously. On that, I'm just about to go to a midwife appointment. So yeah, pregnant, it's a pregnant morning. What am I talking about? Oh my gosh. I've got my tube of pee, really dark. I need to drink some water. And I'm ready to go. I'm 32 weeks, I believe. Just over, yeah. So we're well and truly on the countdown now, but I'm feeling a bit, not like rushed. Yeah, this pregnancy does feel rushed. I think it's probably natural. Your second pregnancy, you just have so much less time to think about it. I actually wrote a little poem the other day, which I might share on socials. I don't know, I don't tend to, but I actually feel like it would be quite cathartic to share some of it, because I love writing. I write all the time and I barely share any of it. It's just felt like whoosh, and you're trying to catch these like fleeting glimpses of what this pregnancy is and think about who the baby is going to be. I mean, we still don't have a name yet. It just feels all very up in the air, and it's a bit mad. But even my midwife appointments have felt a bit rushed, to be honest. It's kind of like, you've done this before, get in, get out. My midwife is lovely, just to clarify. I don't think that's her intention at all. I know they're incredibly busy, so I don't resent that approach. If I ever have questions, she makes time for me. You know, we had some irregularities with the heartbeat around the 18-week mark. She was so good with taking the time to talk to me, so it's not that I feel rushed in a bad way. It's just that's just the way of it, I guess. They're like, you've done this before, let's hurry up. I have been semi-enjoying being pregnant at the moment. I'm in a relatively good phase. I mean, my mouth tastes disgusting all the time, but I had that all of my pregnancy with Rue as well. And then the moment she was born, it just disappeared. It was wonderful. So in my heart, I'm just like, okay, you've only got 8 more weeks, or 7 and 5 days or whatever to put up with having a manky mouth, and then you can go back to normal. Please let me go back to normal. We've bought quite a lot of stuff lately, stuff that we've really needed, because I feel like sometimes you have with toddlers, you'll go for like a few months where everything is just fine, everything is suited to them or fits them, it's all fine, it's all gravy, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, everything's changed. They don't want to play with any of those toys anymore, or you need to get them some new clothes that fit them. It's just these things come in a big rush, and suddenly you feel like you're spending loads, but it is genuinely all things we needed. Made it to Aldi. My midwife appointment was fine. I didn't actually see my usual midwife. I saw another lady and a trainee, basically. They were both lovely. That was probably the quickest I've ever been in and out of a midwife appointment. But firstly, parking at our hospital is an absolute nightmare, so that's fun. And then I'm usually sat in the waiting room for quite a while. My midwife is the lead midwife. I'm not classed as high risk pregnancy. That's just how it's fallen, really. She's very experienced, but she's also in very high demand. And there have been a couple of times when I've gone for appointments and she's been called out to a home birth as well. I feel pretty glad that I get to see this mostly the same person. I was seeing her when I was pregnant with Rue, and now I'm seeing her again pregnant with this baby that has no name. And at this point in time, will never be named, because we really can't think of one. If you have any name suggestions, pop them down below, please. We had backup girl names from when I was pregnant with Rue, but just revisiting them this time, none of them really felt right. We got a little shared notes list, adding so many different names to it, and then we like them, then we go off them, or one of us really likes them, the other one is like, absolutely not. And it's just not happening. Like, we really haven't got any common ground whatsoever. We haven't got one name where we're both sort of like, yeah, that could be a goer. Do you know what I mean? Which was a sort of funny story about a month ago, and now that I'm creeping closer to this baby actually exiting my body, I am starting to get a bit panicked about it. Don't ask me why I'm putting lipstick on to go into Aldi. We've basically been splitting our food shop. We used to just do one big food shop a week, and inevitably I would have to go and just pick up little bits and bobs here and there, because things like berries don't last the whole week in our house. But we used to just do everything, all the dinners, and it meant we really got stuck in a rut, because you just tend to go for the same things. And it's just meant that I find I have a bit more creativity, especially for those dinners in the second half of the week, because I
have a bit of time to just sit and think, okay, well, what have we got left over in the fridge that we could use, kind of reducing waste? What do I feel like eating? What have we not had in a while? What could we try that's new, etc. Just mixing it up a bit. Also, the other thing that's changed for us is Rue. So her nursery actually used to give them a tea at about 3:30 p.m. and now they still feed them at that time, but it's much more of a light snack. So she's coming home and she's hungrier for an actual dinner, where she used to have quite a big meal in the afternoon at nursery. She would then come home and maybe have some cereal or some toast or a little snack. And now she's coming home and she actually needs more of a meal, so she is actually having dinner with us. So the 2 days she was at nursery previously, she wouldn't have dinner with us. We would wait for her to go to bed and we would have dinner. But now we are all having dinners together pretty much every day of the week. Yeah, every day of the week. And also I'm doing a little job with, well, I can't really talk about it, which is so annoying. I mean, exclusivity and all that. But basically I have a job that will go live in August and I'm doing the recipe creation for that this week. I also need to get a few bits and bobs for that. So I thought I'd just run through what I got from Aldi because, you know, that's the kind of content that I enjoy, thrilling day-to-day life stuff. I've only got 3 dinners this week because Alex and I are off to a wedding on Saturday. It's my cousin's wedding. I feel very emotional about it because I'm the eldest grandchild. I was about 7 when this cousin who's getting married was born. Then all my other cousins are younger than that still. And it just feels really like, I don't know, like I just remember her when she was a baby. Do you know what I mean? Now she's getting married. So I've just needed the next few days. I'm gonna have sausage and mash on one day. I do actually really like Aldi's ranges of sausages. They've got so many different ones. Now obviously sausages are highly processed. They're not the most nutritious thing, but my child loves them. Like, she loves them. We probably have them once every fortnight, I would say. I try not to do it too often, but it is a good meal to fall back on, to be honest. I'll usually give her half a sausage or maybe 3/4 of a sausage chopped up. Oh, the binman. I have a random binman story, which I'll tell you in a minute if I remember, which I probably won't. Bramley apple. Best options are always going to be things like your chicken sausages. When Rue was younger, certainly I would stick with chicken sausages, low salt pork sausages that I could find, and looking for the ones with minimal products is always ideal. Aldi doesn't tend to cater to that particular market. If you go into Sainsbury's, you can get things like Heck, 97% pork sausages, Naked sausages, I think they're called, the brand is Naked or something, can't remember. There are a few on the shelves that you can find that have quite minimal ingredients, quite a high level of pork. Whereas if you go to Aldi, you're just not going to get that. Again, not ideal, but it's not an everyday food for us, so I don't really worry about that kind of thing, to be honest. We'll have that with mash, peas, Rue's loving peas at the moment, and some pan-fried red cabbage. This is such a good addition to bangers and mash. I can't explain it. It just is so nice. It adds a bit of colour to the plate as well. Like, it's just yummy. It's just yum. And obviously some onions as well. I have some pan-fried onions in the gravy. And then the day after that, we're gonna have some lamb koftas with flatbread, which has been one of my favourite meals. Again, in my what I eat in a day when pregnant, I had this dinner. So I've got the stuff for the lamb koftas. I'll probably make those ahead of time. And then the flatbreads I just make on the day. And then I also bought ready-made some meatballs, and the meatballs will just have in a little arrabbiata sauce that I'll make with some chopped tomatoes and some spices and stuff. We ran out of tomato puree, and I bought this cereal kind of hoping it's going to be like Cinnamon Grahams, or Curiously Cinnamon as they're now called, which I can't find in supermarkets and have been a pregnancy craving of mine. I'm now struggling to find them, so I think maybe they've been phased out, which was a very bad timing for me to get that craving. So I'm going to try these Aldi ones. I don't know if they'll be what I'm after, if they'll hit the spot in the same way, but we'll see. And I just wanted to try those out. And I also got some toilet paper, which is really glamorous. And all of that was £21, which is not too, I mean, don't get me wrong, compared to what that shop would have been a couple of years ago. But yeah, I try to keep my part of the shop, so the 3 or 4 dinners that I do at the end of the week, below £30.
So that's pretty on track, really. If I'd got another meal, it would have been obviously close to 30, but 21 is good. Oh, and very quickly, my bin man story. I don't know if it's the same in every county, but we've got big wheelie bins for recycling and general waste. And then we've got little food waste bins. So we've got a food waste caddy that lives in the house, and then outside we've got like a mini wheelie bin, which is our food waste bin. When we put the bins out the night before, quite often we have an issue where animals will come and empty the food waste bin if it's on the floor. They can get in, even if we have the handle up, which kind of locks it or is meant to lock it, they can get in. I don't know whether it's foxes or cats, I'm not sure, but they will have dragged everything everywhere. To stop them getting in, we put the bin, the big bin at the side of the road, and then we pick the food waste bin up and pop it on top. Now I appreciate that probably does add a few seconds to the bin men's job if the big, they do the collection separately. So if they come to empty the big recycling bin, for example, and the food waste bin's on top, they got to move the bin off and then they can take the bin. Obviously they don't like it because I was upstairs last week and just so happened to be looking out the window as the bin men came along, and I'm not even kidding you, the man who came to collect our bin walked over to the wheelie bin, punched my food waste bin off of it onto the floor, it was just on its side, and then emptied the bin and left. That's not okay, is it? So I was actually gonna try and catch him doing it this week, but I didn't, I missed it because I was out at my midwife appointment. Not that I don't respect the bin men, I actually really like our bin men because they're always really generous with their time with Rue. She gets really excited to see the bin lorry if we happen to be outside at the time they come around. They're always like waving, saying hello, she absolutely loves it. But the way this man yeeted the bin off of the wheelie bin, I was shocked. I was very shocked. And I was very tempted to go out there heavily pregnant and be like, was that completely necessary? Because now I've got to pick this shit up. Here are some of my Amazon Prime Day purchases, ranging from the mildly interesting to the absolutely boring, but that's life, isn't it? There wasn't anything massively exciting for me, but I did get some really useful bits. I feel like this should be helpful maybe if you have a toddler who's a little bit younger than Rue and you're thinking, what kind of things might I need in the upcoming months of life? These are things to look out for. Slightly boring, but always something to look out for is a good water bottle. And actually I really like these ones. I'll put all the links below. I actually needed to get her a bottle for nursery because they're moving away from, they did have sort of more independent, to be honest, water dispensers where they would go and help themselves. But I think they wanted to keep more of an eye on how much the children were drinking. So they've asked for us to send in dishwasher safe bottles. A surprising amount of bottles are not dishwasher safe. I just got her 2 of the same design, so she has the same one at home as she has at school. Is a free flow situation. I don't mind her having a straw bottle. The reason I didn't want to send one to nursery is because the straw bottles that she has at home, I make sure I actually clean the straw, like with a straw cleaner, once a fortnight or once a month or whatever it is, or if I just notice it getting a bit yuck. Whereas at nursery, obviously all the bottles are just going in the dishwasher. They haven't got time to individually clean straws, etc. So just for the interest of keeping everything as clean as possible, I wanted to go for just a free flow because in the dishwasher that's all going to get zapped really nicely and be nice and clean. Another thing I got her, didn't have a Prime Day deal, but it did have a discount, so I just bought it anyway. Flotation vest. We just got one of the Swim Best ones. These have really good reviews. They've got 8 floats and it's also got a strap that goes underneath between her legs. That's really good because you do sometimes see children at the pool and their swim float vests have kind of risen up at the shoulders, whereas that keeps it anchored quite nicely and it keeps it snug here. When we go swimming, she doesn't do swimming lessons yet, which is a big, if anything gives me mum guilt, that's one of them, that I haven't got her into swim lessons. But the waiting lists around here are really long and we have a few pools that are significantly nicer than others, so I'd rather go to one of the nice ones. But anyway, we do take her swimming, and particularly when the weather was really nice, we went to the outdoor pool a couple of times and I was having to hold her in the pool. It wasn't disastrous, but it's not like, it's a bit of an arm workout, it's not great. So got her a swim vest. When she was wearing it, she obviously had so much more independence. I was still in there with her. She could just literally hold onto my finger. And then when she got braver, she was letting go of my hand. I was never very far away from her, but she was like, leave me alone, mummy, I want to swim on my own. And I had to try and make it clear to her that you can't actually swim on your own, so please don't try. But yeah, she absolutely loved that. And they've got a few different designs again. I bought 2 of the Dream Egg white noise machines. It's funny because we had one for Rue and it just randomly stopped working the day before Prime Day. So we have had that since she was born. So I suppose 2.5 years of being on continuously every single night. Yeah, maybe it's just tired of life, so that's fair enough. I was just going to buy one of these for the new baby, but instead I ended up buying two. I got the ones without a nightlight this time. We had the one with the nightlight before, which is lovely, but we just never really used it. And the ones without the nightlight are a bit cheaper. These are amazing because you can have continuous white noise. It doesn't just cut off after a certain point. And they're really portable, so you can take them in the car, in the pram, etc. I also, this is a really glamorous purchase, got a toilet seat. This is one of those toilet seats that has the infant seat inside. So you've got an adult toilet seat where you can sit, and then it's got clipped onto the adult seat underneath is a littler one for little bottoms. You have a newbie like toilet style potty, but thinking about next steps, I just bought one for now for the downstairs loo. And then I will get one eventually for upstairs, I think, but she uses that loo less anyway. We are mostly downstairs. So I don't mind her having a potty upstairs for a bit, and this downstairs, that doesn't bother me. The reason that I really like these is because they're more discreet. We're out and about. This is more likely to be the seat she's gonna encounter. I mean, never did I think I'd be sat on YouTube showing a toilet seat. The only thing you have to watch out for if you are thinking of buying one of these is to take into account the size and shape of your toilet, because some toilets are more squared off, etc. So you just want to make sure you're getting one that is actually going to fit the toilet that you've got. Sounds obvious, but these are the things that you sometimes don't think about. I also got her a day to night alarm clock. There are a few different versions of this on the market. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm reserving any judgment on saying this is the great one to get. But the reason that we bought this over the Tommy Tippy Grow Clock, which is probably the most popular on the market, is because the Grow Clock is blue at night and I think yellow in the day, and you can't change the colours. Now for me, I just don't understand why they made that decision, because blue light is notoriously not supposed to be good for you when you're sleeping. I think slows down your melatonin production, and that's why you shouldn't look at your phone before bed, because it's blue light. It's just not meant to be actually very conducive to getting a good night's sleep. My child is very sleep sensitive. I've talked about it probably in every vlog since she's been alive. Now I don't want to jinx it, but the last week has been incredible. So now that she's just about to move into her room and things are about to change, I'm like, why would this be happening now? Why just now would you decide that you're going to sleep peacefully in your cot when we're just about to change everything? We got her one of these. The idea is that we're going to make this red at night time. The moon will be out, it will be red, and we can say to her, if the light is red, if the moon is there, it's night time. Don't get out of your bed, stay in bed, get comfy, go back to sleep. And then we'll have it set at a certain time to turn yellow in the day, or I might let her choose the daytime colour actually, she'd quite like that. And it will have the sun, and she'll know that it's time to get up. I know she's gonna get out of that bed. I know as soon as she hasn't got sides on, she's gonna be up and about. We're gonna make her room obviously as safe as possible, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I'm not gonna be fighting fires and going up and putting her back to bed every 2 seconds. I'm just gonna hope that when she finally does crash, and we'll still have the monitor so we can watch her, but that when she finally does crash, she hops back into bed. That's not really an issue for me. But I do think it would be really good for her to have that visual of, it's nighttime, it's sleep time, and then that other visual to say, it's morning time, you can come and wake us up. I will report back with what I think of it. We bit the bullet and got her a Tony box, which is something I've been toying with for a while. I was kind of stuck in the black hole of, do I want a Tony box? Do I want a Yoto player? Do I want a mini Yoto player? I think realistically we're going to have the Tony box for now, and then I probably will get them, her and her younger sister, a Yoto box a little bit down the line. I think the Yoto boxes are just that little bit more grown up. I couldn't decide between the two. It was getting too complicated. And I saw the Tony boxes on deal on Prime, and I just thought, I'm just gonna get it. Because we wanted her to have a little moving into your big girl room present. And we were also thinking maybe a present from the baby. We went for the pink box, and this was the Julia Donaldson bundle. So it came with Highway Rat. She loves the Highway Rat. She loves any naughty characters, I've realised. My child, I mean, I spoke last time, I think, about her just love for Gaston. She's just really attracted to the villains. And I get it, I do get it. I was always a little bit like that as a child, like Cruella de Vil, Ursula. They've always had that kind of, you know, they've got a little something about them that you just are drawn to. You kind of like that. But yeah, when it's your own toddler and she just like loves the naughty characters, it can be a little bit exhausting. Gruffalo's Child, the Gruffalo. Stickman, oh Stickman, or as my child calls him, Dickman. Those with the box for £99 on Prime Day. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm really looking forward to her having it because we have been cutting out screen time as well. I actually bought myself some magnesium. I realised when I just picked it up off the side to show you that this is what I was supposed to ask about at my midwife appointment, so I'll have to ring her instead. I need a bit of a sleep aid at the moment, falling to sleep and staying asleep. As far as I know, magnesium is perfectly safe in pregnancy, but I just wanted to double check that it was okay to take, and I forgot. So I will have to ask my midwife about that, but I got that. And then I also got a little handheld fan because it's been hot as hell lately. Muggy actually is the word, muggy as hell. Like today was raining earlier, but it was still so muggy. And this is a very small but powerful. Again, this was a suggestion from Sophie, the folding lady. She posts about these a lot. USB or USB-C ports there to charge. Oh, small but powerful. Small but powerful. The only issue is my toddler wants to use it all the time. So she keeps stealing it off me. So I really should have got her one as well. Maybe I'll do that because I need it. I really need it. I don't know why I keep deciding to sit on the floor for these things. I think my days of sitting on the floor are probably behind me. I went on to Temu and bought her a few more bits. Now, I know people have mixed feelings about Temu, don't they? But as far as I'm aware, it is a marketplace, just like Amazon. It has smaller sellers. And I do find that a lot of the kids' toys on there are really good. I didn't go mad. I just got her a few new bits just to inject a little bit of interest into playing again, because as I said, we've been doing no screen time, which is fine. But obviously then she was just sort of looking in her toy box at all the same old toys that she's had for quite a while, so I thought a nice little injection of some new bits would be good. First thing we got was this string and bead set, and one thing I do like about Temu is a lot of their toys come in containers. Obviously this is not like the most aesthetic box, but it really does the job. It can just go in her toy box and everything is there, so I do like that. This has got 4 needle and thread bits. So those are where they thread them on, and obviously then I've just knotted the ends so the beads don't fall off. There are loads of different beads in there. So some are veggies, some are animals. If I'm sat in the room with her, I'll say, oh, can you build me a whole string of red things or a whole string of animals? And she can have a look in there and find all the different bits and pop them on. And obviously this is really good for her fine motor. I think it's also one of the skills to tick off actually in the most recent health visitor check that she had, if I remember rightly. So you don't have to buy anything. You can literally just use some string and some pasta, like some penne, dried penne. But she does really enjoy this little set. I got her this matching images kit, which we actually have been taking this with us to restaurants and stuff. Quite a lot in here, so you kind of have to control the fun. Don't let her get everything out, do you know what I mean? Control the fun. You've got loads of these cards with the shadows of the items on there, and then you've got a whole box full of these wooden tiles which have the pictures on, and they find the corresponding item and pop them on. There are tons of these tiles. Even if she's not actually playing with the game like matching, she does quite like just looking through all the different tiles and all the different objects that are on there. Animals again, fruits, vehicles, etc. I'll put the price for these on the screen because I can't remember how much I paid for them, but they were all really reasonable for what they are. A lot of these toys on Amazon, for example, or particularly in toy shops, you're going to be paying a lot more. I've really noticed as well that just the word Montessori, oh my god, it's everywhere, isn't it? And it kind of annoys me as somebody who, you know, was a teacher. Montessori does not apply to all of these things that are being described as Montessori. I just feel like it's been applied to like aesthetic wooden toys is what they're describing as Montessori, which isn't necessarily right. That's just a little bugbear of mine. But anyway, I also got these matching dinos. I was a little bit torn on these only because she's not quite at the level of recognizing capital letters and lowercase letters yet. But I've noticed that her alphabet puzzle, which is just an A to Z puzzle, she actually can match the majority of those letters herself now. She's kind of getting that sight reading of the letters, which is great. And so I got her this. I was thinking for a bit further down the line, but then she ended up finding it in her toy box and wanted to play with it, so we have been playing with it. The alphabet is set out on the dinosaurs, and you match the lowercase with the uppercase, and they're double-sided, so they've got 2 letters on them. You haven't got 26, separate dinosaurs, you've got 13. So what we've been doing when I get them out for her is I've actually just been sticking with the letters where the lowercase and the uppercase look relatively similar. So this is a good example. Capital S looks pretty much the same. Lowercase f, capital F looks pretty much the same. But I have been taking out some of the ones like this one, for example, which you might not be able to see as well. But it's a lowercase r and an uppercase R. They obviously look quite different. Lowercase e, uppercase e, they obviously look quite different. I'll keep them separate for a little while just until I have time to go through it with her, and maybe we can start learning those different ones. And then there are some where, like for example, this O, obviously O's look quite similar, so that's fine. B's look quite different, but in this case, I can leave this out because she'll work that out from the O's, and then I can talk to her about these ones. So yeah, it's just one of those annoying things about language, isn't it? That capital letters aren't just big versions of the little ones always. She really likes that. And again, it came with this little drawstring bag, which says dinosaur on it. Love that. I've been keeping it in the box still. And then the last thing that I got from Temu, I think this is really good value, a little balance plate. Now, we love some gross motor movement in this house. Rue definitely is one of those children who needs a lot of movement. She's not a can just sit still and do something kind of child. I always thought to myself, if I have girls, you know, they'll sit and they'll colour in nicely, etc. Because my younger sister, I remember, was always very like that compared to my brothers who were just mental. Does my child do that? No. No, she doesn't. If she's sat quietly colouring in, I need to be deeply concerned because she is colouring something she shouldn't be. She's not quite there yet. I got her this balance plate because I just thought it's such a nice little, getting that sensory feedback from something is really good for her. It really calms her. And I kind of get that because I'm quite a fidget myself. It was super easy to build. I did use my drill as a screwdriver because I just didn't have the strength. But it's a little monkey balance board. She pops her feet on it, it rocks back and forth, or she can try and keep it steady and wobble it. And it's just a really nice addition because we have a climbing frame, a little Pickler climbing frame that she actually doesn't use that much, to the point where I'm thinking, do I sell it? Do I wait and see if the second child likes it? I don't really know. She goes on it sometimes, but not enough to warrant how much space it takes up in my house. So I'm a little bit torn, but little things like this where she can just, like stepping stones and balance beams, she loves that kind of thing. Little things like this where she can just be on it and enjoying the movement and getting that bit of feedback from it is really good. Highly recommend, if you've got a mover and a shaker, you need to get a little balance board. Not necessarily this one if you don't want to, but this was such a good price and it's really well made. So it's got the dowel there, these go into grooves, everything is obviously set together really tightly. The screws are countersunk, so it's all completely flush and comfortable for them to use and safe, and she loves it. So yeah, those are the little temu, however you say it, bits that I got for her just to get a little bit of newness going on. We're going to have salmon stir fry for dinner. This is one of those meals that surprisingly Rue really enjoys, even though I feel like salmon stir fry, not necessarily a thing that toddlers should enjoy. Would you stop doing that? Naked husband here. Child licking salmon here. This is why I don't get to vlog much, guys. All too chaotic in my house. Pop the salmon in the air fryer and put the lid back on for me. Salmon. This is the only stir fry sauce you'll ever need for anything salmon based. Honey, kind of like the base of my sauce. That honey's run out. But yeah, any old squeezy runny honey is good for this. So about 2 tablespoons of that. Soy sauce. This brand is the best soy sauce you can get in supermarkets because the ingredients are just soybeans, water, bit of salt, bit of sugar, no emulsifiers or other fillers. Like the supermarket options, although cheaper, have a lot of yucky crap in them. Chilies for a little bit of heat. Obviously leave that out if you don't like heat, but a little bit of chili flakes in there is mwah. And lemon juice. And yes, lemon juice from the bottle because, as I've said before, I'm a peasant. Honey for sweetness, soy for saltiness, lemon juice for acidity, chilies for a little bit of heat. Alex and I have had this on every salmon stir fry we've eaten for the last like 5 years, and we have it once a week, so it's not one that you get bored of. It's just delicious every time. This is one of those really quick, easy meals that we like, so I'm really glad that Rue likes it as well, and we haven't got to switch it up now that she's having dinner with us. Okay.
That's making my mind.
We're going to a local outdoor free play place, you know, like the forest schooly type setups. We're meeting one of my old friends. Haven't seen her since Easter, so a little while. I'm really looking forward to seeing her and her little one. She actually has 2 little ones, but the bigger little one will be at a holiday club because it's the summer holes now. I'm just trying to work out what the actual temperature is, which is half the game when you live in the UK. What's that? You know where that goes. See? You're good at this puzzle. I just let Rue play with my makeup bag for a little while, as in I let her. Sorry, this is classic. This is what it's like when I meet up with my friends. I tried to tell Alex, like, it doesn't really count as meeting up with your friends because I think the amount of sentences you actually manage to finish between you is probably somewhere around 10%. If you're a mum, you probably can relate. Especially now that the kids are so mobile and so opinionated, we will probably spend a majority of our time at opposite ends of wherever we are, be it a soft play or a park or where we're going today. And we will just have snatched moments of conversation as we pass each other. I mean, it's better than nothing, don't get me wrong. It's still lovely to see people, but it is not the same as when you can just sit with a cocktail or a wine or a coffee, you know, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. Clearly my mind is going to non-pregnant times. That was genuinely such a lovely morning and my child is now asleep. So that's a plus. I think I mentioned that I'm going to a wedding on Saturday. I'm going to my cousin's wedding. I've rented a dress. This is the first time I've ever rented an item. I've got her app on my phone and by rotation, and I also have been looking at For the Creators, which is more of a maternity based one. I think I might sign up to a month of that actually towards the end of my pregnancy, because they've got loads of Beyond 9 clothes on there and I think you can pay like £50 a month to get 5 items or something like that. But I've decided to rent a dress for this wedding because I really didn't want to buy another maternity dress. I'm not the kind of person who wants to wear the same dress to multiple weddings. I don't know, is that a bit... It's not very sustainable, is it? But I think that's where I felt better renting than I did buying. This is a Hope and Ivy dress. It is a maternity... I don't know if they're a maternity brand, but they definitely do a lot of maternity dresses because when I went onto ASOS and I searched for maternity guest dresses, wedding guest dresses, Hope and Ivy were a brand that came up a lot. It's a size 12. It's a wrap dress. So it's kind of kimono style. I'd actually rented it from today until this time next week, but the lady sent it out to me early, which was really lovely of her. She just said, look, I've got no one renting it, so you might as well have it and try it and see if, you know, make sure that it's going to be okay. So she actually sent it out to me about a week ago, which was great. It meant I could try it on with the shoes and it meant I could give it a wash, and now I'm going to give it a little steam. Luckily I can machine wash it, so that's nice and easy. The rental itself with postage was £32 for 7 days, which I think is pretty good. And so by the time I've then posted it backtracked, it's gonna come in just under 40. I think that's really worth it because these dresses new are about anywhere between 80 and £100, depending on the style that you're choosing. I thought I'd show you the shoes that I've actually got to wear with it. Now, I've gone a bit rogue. I went for mint. I personally like a mint green and a purple together. I feel like they're a really nice mix. These are actually just from Primark. They were £7. Just walked in and found them. I was like, perfect. A little bit of wrappage on the ankle. I will probably upload a picture of my outfit onto Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, at cyan.stephanie. I think I forgot to mention, I rented the dress from By Rotation. What I found was that Her have quite a lot of high-end rentals, which is fine if that's what you need. Whereas By Rotation really have quite a breadth of things. Like they've got the more luxury items, but they've also got more sort of premium high street options as well, which I thought was really good. This has been a really good first experience. Obviously I haven't sent it back yet, fingers crossed nothing goes wrong with that, but so far I've really enjoyed it. So definitely recommend, if you are thinking about dipping your toe into renting but you weren't really sure where to start, I would recommend the By Rotation app and just having a browse.